Okay. Thank you, Mario.
You're welcome.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Are you ready to get?
Yes.
This is, I guess it was a firehouse. I would like to call the December 23rd, 2019 meeting to order. Roll call.
Mr. Vieira,
Here.
Dr. Vogt,
Here.
Mrs. Wittes. Here. Dr. Selly,
Here.
Mr. Dangler.
Here. Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I hereby certify that this meeting has been published in the newspaper in accordance with the Open Public Meetings and posted as required by law.
Presentations. Mr. Ferragina, if you would come forward, please. This presentation is to the Green Team for obtaining the Bronze certification by Sustainable New Jersey. The Green Team for its extraordinary leadership and dedication, which resulted in a prestigious Bronze certification for the City of Long Branch by Sustainable New Jersey for 2020-2022. The Green Team focused on the priority actions: climate adaptation, flooding risk, natural resource inventory, prescription drug and safety and disposal, and sustainable land use pledge. Through their continued commitment to the City of Long Branch, the Green Team new goal is to achieve silver status by the fall of 2022. We would like to present the certificate. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. If I may ask the Green Team members to please come up and join me as I say a couple of few words here. Thank you. Long Branch has met the rigorous requirements to achieve Sustainable Jersey certification. Long Branch is one of 83 New Jersey towns that have attained certification in 2019 and was honored at the Sustainable Jersey Awards Luncheon on Tuesday, November 19th in Atlantic City, with members of the Long Branch Green Team and the Long Branch Office of Community and Economic Development. In order for the City of Long Branch to regain Sustainable Jersey certification, the Long Branch Green Team diligently worked to research, complete, and submit documentation to show it had completed a balance of the required sustained actions, meeting a minimum of 150 action points. The Long Branch Green Team actually exceeded this and achieved 200 points and earned a bronze certification not for 1 year but for 3 years, from 2020 to 2022. It takes extraordinary leadership and a real commitment to making our communities better As New Jersey tops the list of one of the fastest warming states in the nation, the next 10 years will be a critical period for making progress. Sustainable Jersey certified towns are a force of change as they create a path forward to advance sustainability. And I'd like to just thank the Green Team. They worked very hard to achieve this bronze certification, and we hope that next year you will work even harder to achieve silver. Thank you very much.
If you don't mind, I'm just going to read something as well, which I may. So Sustainable Jersey, as you know, gave Long Branch a bronze certification for the first time since 2014. And before we took office, we wanted to make Long Branch an environmentally healthy community. So everyone has to do their part to give their children a livable environment. And I'm proud that today we honored our commitment to a cleaner, greener Long Branch. I really want to thank Rob Ferragina, Jake Jones at Economic and Community Development, and especially the Green Team for all of their hard work. As Rob pointed out, this really isn't an easy task. It's very difficult. It requires hours and hours of dedicated effort, but we all are, and our city is better for it. So to all the members, Rob, thank you for being here, and thank you for helping us achieve that goal. Thanks.
I need a motion to approve the minutes from the December 11th council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Viera?
Yes.
Dr. Vogt?
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes?
Yes.
Dr. Selly?
Yes.
Mr. Dangler?
Yes. Consideration of ordinances, we have none. Public hearing, excuse me. For consideration of ordinance, we do not have any. Ordinances for introduction. This is the first reading of ordinance 2019 entitled "The Ordinance Creating a New Chapter 111, the Code of the City of Long Branch, entitled Regulation Use Plastic Bags, Food Containers, Plastic Straws, Coffee Stirrers for the City of Long Branch." I need a motion to introduce the first reading, advertised and posted according to the law, and set for public hearing for January 8th, 2020.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Viera?
Yes.
Dr. Vogt?
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes?
Yes.
Dr. Selly?
I have some comments before I vote. I personally do not believe the public has been educated enough and realized that some of the ramifications this ordinance will cause on the entire community. We need to do a better job of informing the public. More research needs to be done before the city passes an ordinance like this. I believe we should wait until the state decides what they're going to do. Although this may be a very important issue, the state will soon take action and make it a statewide, perhaps with some exclusions. The city should wait and see what happens at the state level, and then everyone will be uniform and the public will have more information. As a senior citizen, I need the single bag. Carry a few things. It is impossible for anyone who has to multitask to carry a heavy brown bag or a canvas bag. And so therefore, for these three reasons, I vote no. Okay?
And Mr. Dangler?
Yes. This is the first reading of ordinance 2119 entitled "Ordinance Authorizing the Acceptance of a Donation of Real Property by Bank of America, N.A., of the property located at 577 Broadway, designated as Block 246, Lot 1. I need a motion to introduce the first reading, advertise, post it according to the law and set for public hearing for January 8th, 2020. Roll call?
So, second.
Mr. Viera,
Yes.
Dr. Vogt,
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes,
Yes.
Dr. Kelly,
Yes,
Mr. Dangler.
Yes. Public participation. I need a motion to open the public portion of this meeting for all comments.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
aye.
Opposed? If there's anyone in the audience that has a comment to make, please step to the podium. State your name and address clearly for the record. You will be given 5 minutes and may only speak once.
Hi, Ernest McNolly, Asbury Park, New Jersey, born in Long Branch. I don't always like coming up here because
Mr. McNolly, I'm sorry, could you bring the mic a little closer?
Okay.
Thank you.
I often don't like coming up here because, you know, there's such little community involvement. And I kind of feel like now I really am an outsider in terms of me owning a home in Asbury, but, you know, I'm born and raised here, so, and I care about Long Branch, but I just find it odd that time after time, resolution after resolution, everything after everything, very few people are here. So I remember when, for a resolution like this, about that building, are we talking about the bank on Broadway? Is that what
Yes.
we're talking about? You know, I think what you designate it for and what you use it for, I don't think should rest with the mayor and council only. I mean, you have a lot of people in Long Branch that would have opinion about what that will be. I think from what I've been reading, you've already decided what it's going to be. It's going to be some kind of something that the city will use. But, you know, at some point, like, you know, when do the citizens get stuff? You know, like, I came very close to...
Part of the negotiation in acquiring the bank, Mr. McNolly, was, remember, Bank of America has only donated, as far as I know, in the last several years, one other bank. And so part of that negotiation was they'd like to donate to interests of business and economic development. So part of the proposal that we submitted, which they told us they would look favorably on, is to have the Office of Economic and Community Development in there. Now, we have some other goals as well, which I'll mention as well. I doubt that there's going to be any objection to it, but I just wanted to address your question.
I guess then I think plenty of economic development going on here. I don't see, I mean, I think there's more of a need for social programs and educational programs, et cetera. But, you know, if you think that...
We do too. And that, like I said...
I don't know, but you're restrained by what the bank said. I understand.
No, not totally, but I'll tell you a little...
And other things, like other banks, like the one on Memorial and Broadway, I mean, everybody knows that's a contaminated bank. That's why it's sat for so long. I don't even know how the Schneider campaign got the approval to be in a contaminated building like that, but they did. And so I think it's important that before the council or whomever, the city business administrator, before you all come up with the restraints of what something will be used for, I think the public being involved is a critical part. I don't know if that would nix the donation. I know it's a nice donation, and you know, you say we have to talk about it, but the thing is, from my experience in Asbury and Long Branch, when things like this happen, we're always told by the mayor and council, we're going to involve the community, et cetera, and next thing they're voting, and it's done. So that's what creates the estrangement for the city, that they don't show up at meetings because, you know, you're considered like a pain in the neck, like a flea on a dog, you know, like, let us do what we want to do, and, you know, we were elected, and let us handle it. But, you know, except for the factions along Ocean Boulevard, the highly developed, economic developed area, the rest of Long is like closed out. Like they aren't told much, don't get involved much, but they're the backbone of this city. Like they're good people that I grew up with, that had kids. I don't like the divide. I think every time something like this happens, it fits a pattern, and the city business administrator, the lawyers, the mayor always says, well, it was given to us in a certain way, like when the armory was given away, it was given to the city in perpetuity, to be for the people. And somehow it turned into a luxury beach club. So, we always wonder how like all this sleight of hand happens. It's like always going to be for the people, but it always turns out to be for a select few. And now Long Branch is going through something where economic development, it's probably going to involve, everybody at Pier Village and all these fancy hotels that no one in Long Branch uses. And I just think there should be a lot more consideration before, and I think the bank would be amenable to that, if you say, well, we want to involve more people before we do it. And that's it. And
Thank you, Mr. McNulty.
further, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Request 1-minute notification. Vincent Lepore, 33 Ocean Terrace, Long Branch. That's going to happen again this evening. I don't particularly care what anybody thinks. I've often stood in this room on many occasions using the word junk government, referring to actions of the governing body. And at times I've referred to Neil Schulman's articles in The Link as junk journalism. In the current Link, Schulman headlines an article, quote, "Here's a non-story about a little nativity scene," end quote. The headline as well as the article is flawed. The headline is antithetical. Again, the headline reads, quote, "Here's a non-story about a little nativity scene," end quote. No, Schulman, you got it wrong, Schulman. The nativity scene is viewed by many as the beginning of the greatest story ever told, deserving of respect that was not shown by this city. No matter what the scenario the mayor provided in regards to an improper size display, the bottom line is the mayor lacked common sense. Many people don't do things if it doesn't make sense. The mayor failed. The facts, as I stated them at the last council meeting, are solid. They had insult to injury. On December 11th, I put in an Open Public Records request to produce an invoice for the purchase of a certain religious display in front of City Hall. I stated at the last council meeting it would be approximately $1,700. The invoice showed $1,754. The city went out and purchased a religious holiday themed piece for $1,754, but slid on a donation of a nativity scene. Why wasn't the nativity scene treated equally? The date on the invoice is November 20th, 2018, just a little more than a year ago. Purchased while Pallone is mayor and approved by the council in a bill payout. Why wasn't equal consideration given to a nativity scene at that time? That's the story, Schulman. Get it? Since the last meeting, a donor has stepped up and provided a very humble and respectable outdoor nativity scene. Not overwhelming, like the other religious piece, but its intent is purposeful and well understood. We got together and came up with something here. 'Twas the night before the eve, before a mayor and council that deceives, as residents throughout the town are commenting on how Team Pallone let them down, with lies and charades, much to the people's chagrin. Team Pallone helped make another 30-year tax abatement happen again. Convicted felon developer Kushner, like a buzzard abound, counts on that tax abatement so he can break ground. And as the new 30-year tax abatements hits residents in the face, they don't have to look far for where to blame the place. It's at City Hall that Team Pallone sold you out, leaving many a citizen with angered pouts.
Mr. Lepore, you have 1 minute.
Let us keep in mind during this holiday season the very meaning to which these days bring reason, the good over bad, the joy over sad, and how the people of Long Branch by Team Pallone have been had. The city's redevelopment continues to leave residents behind, with increasing taxes, putting many in a bind. And as Team Pallone accommodates Kushner, as if to be trolled, may this holiday season fill Team Pallone's stockings with nothing but coal.
Okay. Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. My name is James Morachi. I live at 329 Jersey Avenue.
And I'm
This is
I'm
Peggy
Peggy
Scavone. She
Scavone.
lives at 321.
1 Jersey Avenue.
We're here for one reason only, and it's this. It's been an eyesore since November 6th, and all we want to know is, when is this thing going to be torn down and cleaned up? Because it's embarrassing to look at it every day.
It's also a dangerous situation. It's a half-demolished structure, which with any storm coming in, every day, debris from there is strewn all over everybody's property, insulation from the roofing. It comes down little by little, every day.
This is what it looked like before the winds came in a couple weeks ago, and this is what wasn't my concern, and they put up the safeguards by what it looks like now.
Do you know where this is?
As it came down. Luckily, when I talked with one of the gentlemen who was there from the zoning, he made him put the supports up, because I was concerned that it would fall down on my house. And it
Sir,
did
could you
collapse.
go
We
back to
can't
the-
use
please?
our
Thank you.
driveways to park, in danger of the whole thing collapsing over onto the sides. On November 6th, when it started, I happened to be home, and a neighbor ran to my door and said, call the police right away and JCP&L, because the wires to the pole, to the transformer, were torquing because the roof on that property started to collapse and it was pulling all the roofing. So needless to say, we've had at least 5 or more calls to the police. Officer Eskridge was very helpful, and he was acting as a contact person should anyone go on the property that wasn't supposed to be there.
Supposed to be taken down, man.
Yeah, so there were signs put up, no trespassing. There were, I called the health department, and Teresa was very kind. She came immediately, because I thought maybe some of these houses have asbestos under the vinyl siding, and there was all kinds of stuff blowing all over the place.
So I'm sorry, I apologize. Where is this?
325 Jersey Avenue,
Chelsea?
Jersey.
Oh, Jersey Avenue.
Between
In Oberon.
Woodgate and Van Court.
And who have you, when did this,
It started
It
on
started November
7th.
6th.
6th, okay.
and what is the most recent picture? The first ones you showed?
The very first ones that are big blow-ups, that's what it looks like now. It's got the 2 huge bins still sitting in the front
So
yard.
your first call was to who?
Actually, we called the police because when he was
electric.
tearing it down, the electric was still live on the house, and so was the natural gas. And he was not supposed to take it down with a claw. He was supposed to manually remove
And
it.
did you reach out to anybody else
Yeah,
besides?
we did.
yeah.
I reached out to
Mr. Graviano, was it?
the health department, Mr. Graviano, your office, and I think Tara or something put a message in, you were in a meeting, and you deflected it over to Mr. Graviano, who called me, and these were a couple of the answers that I got, and we're just asking for
We
the
just want it
the
cleaned up.
truth. It says, we called code enforcement, Nick Graviano. and resulted in the following answers. This is over the month of November into now, or into 2 weeks ago. The owner had many fines. The owner had completed the correct paperwork. The owner was going to only be able to retain the foundation. The city of Long Branch needed to, quote, have a paper trail that anyone could follow from a legal perspective. It has nothing to do, we're not interested in that. We just want to safeguard our properties, not have this garbage and all this stuff blowing around. It's unsafe. That one day there were little kids waiting for the school bus. They were going on the front of the property. I had called Officer Eskridge. They came and they put one little strip of police yellow tape around. That's all that's there. It's not blocked off with chain link or anything else like some of the properties are when they're doing a big construction project. So what we just want to know is the city now holding up the homeowner from completing the demolition, or is there something else? And what can we look at? A month? Are we looking at 2 years of looking at this until it finally just disintegrates into a little pile? Because it's been almost 2 months now.
So I'm going to ask George to say a few words, but before that, let me just say that, on Thursday morning, we will find out for you what the
Okay.
status was.
Thank you.
I mean, on one hand, I'm glad that when you called at least my office, that they referred Nick to you.
Yeah.
But I'm being honest with you, I wasn't aware of this, so I don't know, George, can you?
We did receive a letter.
I'm sorry, the 5 minutes is out. Did you want to continue?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
we
Sent
did,
us
sure.
this, so I didn't know whether the town required him to do that, but it doesn't really tell us too much. But we got that, we all got that in the mail on the block.
If you don't, why don't we do this, since we have this 5 minutes? Can you stay after the meeting?
sure. Sure.
And then we'll work it out and
Okay.
address it immediately.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks
Yeah,
for coming,
our intention
actually.
here is not to raise hell with this guy.
No,
but
I'm glad
all we
you're
want
here.
is all we want is look. I understand you buying flip houses, fine. I have no objection to you doing that, but how long is this going to sit like this before he does something?
If I could just give you one little piece of the history of this. Your brother is Joe?
Yes.
Joe, I know Joe, I've known for many years. He reached out to me some time ago. And what had initially occurred, because you received a letter from the property owner, and it talked about the fact that Long Branch didn't.
Oh, he was
require-
trying. Yeah, I know he was blaming
didn't
Long
re-
Branch. for
I saw the
everything.
letter.
saw the letter?
Yeah, I saw it. I got it sent to me. And Long Branch supposedly didn't require permits for the demo.
That he was going to do.
Right.
initially.
And when I spoke to our construction code official, Stan Midos, he confirmed that because the original application was for construction work.
Right.
And what happened is the property owner went, and it was a do-it-yourself project.
Absolutely.
This is beyond the average person to do this kind of work.
Yeah.
He went in with a machine. He started doing some demolition work that was beyond the scope of the permits.
Right, correct.
The utilities were still connected. So that led to a shutdown of the job because he had overstepped.
Right.
Oh, he could have
And-
blown up the neighborhood.
Yeah, but I thought that letter was disingenuous because how could we authorize someone to, this was my reaction, how would our building department authorize a demolition without the required disconnects? We didn't authorize a demolition.
Right.
He was supposed to leave most of the structure intact to maintain the footprint and do renovations. So this thing spiraled out of control. We've been out there, it was only about a week ago, I spoke to Mr. Graviano. I think you would reach back out to the office. He told me he was out there on the scene and giving direction as to how this gentleman has to proceed. So I don't know exactly what stage they're at.
Yeah.
They were setting up disconnects, I believe.
The disconnects
Everything's
happened.
been done.
Yeah.
Okay, the utility disconnects have occurred.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Thank God.
So I'll have to check with Nick to find out where we are with the permit stage, because I'm thinking this probably did transform into a demolition now, because of the disconnect permits.
Yeah, well, that's what Nick's office said, that
Right.
they were only, at this point, it's so much pulled down that he can only keep the foundation.
Right,
But
okay.
my question is this: is it something more that he needs to satisfy with the town, or is it the permit process that is now like kind of mired down, you know,
You see,
which.
so I'll have to find out
Okay.
exactly where we are between demo versus building permit.
Right.
That we'll have to find out with our building department.
And there are two 16-foot dumpsters.
Right.
Right there as well, that have just been sitting there.
Okay.
With
But
leaks
one thing I have to caution you on, because I've had this experience before, is when people are issued building permits, there's no 2-week limitation or expiration. Building permit projects can go on, for lack of a better term, for an eternity. They can drag and drag as long as that person does some work. But of course, if there are hazards with debris that are blowing around, then we can take action also to help motivate this property owner,
Right.
pardon me, to get this thing done.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know I've,
Yeah, you've seen the pitch there where the second section
Okay.
just fell off during those heavy winds.
yep.
And I was like,
So you're
okay.
gonna- Mayor, you're going to?
Yeah, if you could
Yeah.
stay a little later, let's talk a little further about it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, counsel.
If there's no one else, we need a motion to close the,
So moved.
I think Linda's going to come up.
oh,
Linda.
oh, she-
I'm Linda Swenby, and I reside at 157 7th Avenue, Long Branch, New Jersey. I wasn't going to say anything tonight. I've been thinking about this for some time. I was at the council meeting 2 weeks ago, and I was completely embarrassed, completely. So I say that to say this. I do believe we have a right, all have a right, constitutional right to speak. But I do not think that we have, when we stand up here, that any one of us have the right to malign and slander a person's name, a person or a group of people. Now, I'd like to say that. I could elaborate, but I'm not going to. But been here for 2 years, and I keep hearing the same thing. Every time. It's the same thing. So I just like to see when, if we have problems, let's work on solutions. Not stand up here and call people liars, say this, say anything negative that there is. We have a right to speak. Yes, we might have a right to say that too, but through it all, instead of listening the same thing for 2 years, let's work on the problems. Let's work the problems out instead of saying the same thing over again, and not accomplishing anything. It's just, I just would like to see the atmosphere when we come here change. We're adult people, we can have problems, let's work the solutions out, not go through all this negative garbage. So I do have a question now. It says public hearing scheduled for January 8th, but the ordinance, am I allowed to say something now, or do I have to wait till the next meeting to say anything? And I'm all for this up to a point. How are you going to plan on regulating the use of single-use plastic bags and all this? How do you plan on regulating this? How do you plan on dealing with this? It says regulating.
Well, one of the things, Linda, is first off, this is adopted. It would be a year before it takes effect. And I'm going to ask Lou if I'm mistaken. A lot of it would depend on people who would actually report it, right? Am I right? In other words, the idea you would go into wherever you would go in, and if they're using plastic bags or plastic utensils and they wanted to, let us know, then we would do some sort of investigation. Am I right, Lou? You have a lot more experience with this.
There are businesses that are using plastic straw or paper straws, and I've tried it, and look, it's going to take some getting used to, that's for sure.
Sure.
But I have a suggestion for this too. Remember when you started out the green team, you were giving out those, you gave out those green bags? That might be a solution. It might be I don't know, probably a costly thing to do, but we could use those kind of bags instead of plastic bags. That could be an alternative down through the years, maybe to end the use of plastic bags altogether. And I don't see how you're going to stop the use of styrofoam containers, like for food. I don't see what's the alternative to that?
Paper products?
But then, okay, but then there's, I thought the ordinance was, we're gonna stop use of paper bags also. You know, like in New York, they were gonna stop the use of paper bags, so.
Well, we're talking about several different things here. It's plastic bags, plastic utensils, straws, styrofoam, packaging, things like that.
So this is not going to be something that's going to change very quickly. It's going to be a long-term.
I think so. Well, that's
change.
why, we're talking about a year from when it's being adopted,
Oh, okay.
where it would even go into effect.
Okay.
And what did you say, the state of
Yes, well,
Arizona? Or
Yeah.
maybe
And then the only thing that I mentioned to the mayor is that there's currently a bill in the legislature. There was a hearing in December before the Senate Environmental Committee. And my understanding is that there's a commitment amongst the legislature and the governor to get it done in January. So once that bill's passed, we'll see. It might actually preempt parts of this law.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ron.
Anyone else?
Mayor, I'm sorry, can I ask a question?
no.
No.
Unfortunately.
I thought that was about the public participation was after the thing about the comment of the banks, so. I think we need to make it.
Could we have a motion to close the public portion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Under resolutions, we can take the list of resolutions as a consent agenda. We have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Viera,
Yes.
Dr. Vogt,
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes,
Yes.
Dr. Selly,
Yes,
Mr. Dangler.
Yes. Applications, we need a motion to approve the list of applications.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Viera,
Yes.
Dr. Vogt,
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes,
Yes.
Dr. Selly,
yes.
and Mr. Dangler.
Yes. Miscellaneous business for the good of the order. Councilman Vieira.
Yes, good evening. I'd like to congratulate Rob Ferragina and the Green Team. Awesome job, great job they're doing, and I'd like to wish everybody a safe and a happy holidays. And thank you for coming.
Councilwoman Vogt.
He took the words right out of my mouth. I also want to congratulate the Green Team. Moving up in our certification with Sustainable Jersey is just great for our city. So congratulations on all that hard work. No matter how you celebrate the holiday, enjoy it. Hopefully you'll have some wonderful time with family and friends. All the best.
Councilwoman Wittes.
I too would like to wish everyone a happy holiday and a happy new year, and I hope your next year is healthy and happy, and thank you for coming this evening.
Councilwoman Selly.
You?
I already did mine.
Okay. Tonight is the end of another council session for all of us. It's the end of 2019 for the city council. Another year. I think we've made great progress in some areas, and some other, we need to do some other things. However, based upon that, I would like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, Happy Kwanzaa, and anything that I forgot. And first of all, and most of all, have a happy, healthy 2020. Thank you.
Mayor Pallone.
Thank you. So I'd wanted to, Mr. McNolly had left the room, but I just wanted to talk about the Bank of America a little bit. So First off, I just want to thank them again for what is a very generous donation. And so, yes, right now our plans are for the back of the bank, which probably most of you have not been in, would be an Office of Economic and Community Development. The front of the bank, which was also in the proposal, which we're thinking of doing, it has beautiful, well, you know, it's a stone building that's in absolutely beautiful condition that dates back, that original building dates back to 1907, so there's a lot of light that comes in and 15-foot ceilings. Many staff people from the city have been into the bank, engineer and so forth. So what we're thinking of doing is opening the space, pulling out the counters, opening the space and making it, the front half, like a Long Branch Arts Center, so that there would be ongoing galleries, and even some of the things Mr. McNolly talking about. There would be educational activities, cultural activities, arts things, and it's what Mr. McNolly was talking about. You're exactly right, except it's off the ocean front, so we want to bring things like to the uptown area and to the downtown area, whatever, and create a new environment there, and we just think that's going to be a great opportunity to do that. So, so that's that with that, and we're, like I said, they've been very generous, they've been very fast in getting everything moving, so we're hopeful that, you know, this might be ready to go by the beginning of the summer. Last Wednesday, Councilman Vieira, Council Vice President Selly, and I attended a pizza with the mayor and council at the Senior Center. We talked to seniors about the improvements they wanted to see in Long Branch. We like visiting the Senior Center. It's great to hear how we can make our town better. I want to thank everyone who donated gifts for the Bucky James holiday party that went to children who needed them, and I appreciate your giving, and we had almost 300 gifts for the children. I also want to thank Mr. McNolly for donating the nativity scene that is now outside the city, so thank you, sir, for that. Our home holiday decorating contest ends on December 31st. Please check our social media to find out how to enter. Prizes include gift cards and beach badges. On Thursday, December 26th, that's this Thursday, the Elbron Branch Library is holding a Hanukkah celebration from 11 to 4 p.m. with games, crafts, and music. And on New Year's Eve, there will be fireworks at Pier Village starting at 9 o'clock, so you can ring in the new year. And as everyone else, I'd like to wish everyone a happy holiday, all the best to you and your families in the new year. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to, again, follow suit with my fellow council and mayor, just to wish everyone a safe and happy holiday, and just say a prayer for those who during this time may not be as fortunate as some of us in this room, but that they also are not forgotten at some level of just kindness during this time. Thank you, and God bless you. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.